good things and bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about. Hope I can get this in there fast enough. I know it sends out its own thing, but I definitely said I was going to talk about the post I put up so people be able to understand what's being said um, on there and what I mean by that. So, more clarification, a little education, and you have a whole lot of information. Okay. Um, Give me a second. I'm just trying to send the rest of these invites out. About 10 more invites, and I'll be ready. I'm just going to go ahead and get into this. So, hey, what's up, Cuzos? What's up, Carlita? What's up, Tasha? Hey, I put a post up so people understand what I mean when I'm talking about people being in better their lives and better situation. There's a great difference between generational curses and bad generational decisions, right? Uh, so we go with generational curses as a spiritual thing that sometimes happen within families or things that happen and continues to happen. I don't know why I paused. Things that continue to happen within that family that continues to we call it a curse, right? We call it a curse, and then some, but we also have to understand some things too. Is that there are bad generational decisions too, right? So I want you to understand something. There's no such thing as a genetic obesity. There's no such thing as a genetic obesity monochrome or something like that, right? What it is that bad eating habits have been learned and passed down from generation to generation, right? Like the when people be, excuse me, people eat a bunch of pork chops and ham hocks and just eat and stuff like that. No bacon and all. So a lot of this red meat. So it's something that people learn to eat. Right? It's not a curse. If people learn to eat, it's just a bad decision that people learn to do, and that bad decision gets passed down from generation to generation. Therefore, that becomes one of the bad decisions about eating. Right? Not a generational curse, but it's just bad decisions on eating. The same thing happens, or the same thing has taken effect when we talk about finances. When we talk about money, people, money, and finances. Right? So when we talk about people, money, and finances, what we're really saying is that the same bad decisions that's been taught or been learned from one generation has been passed down to another generation. Hey Zadie, how you doing? What's up, sister? And that has an effect as well. So let's think about. So let's go back and think about this. We've all seen or came up in an area of the '90s when, let's say, wearing Jordans and Nike and starter gear and all that stuff was the most popular thing to have on, right? But really, it was bad financial practices by the parents to buy the kids all this gear to give them a materialistic status point, right? So that materialistic status point it continue on because now those kids grew up and now they buy their kids the same thing, and it's bad decisions of how to use that money. So now they're throwing their money behind materialistic things that's not an asset, that's not putting the money back in their pockets. The difference between generational curses is sometimes generational curses can be something that goes on from alcoholism, sexual abuse, or you have people that deal with different things curse wise in a spiritual way that goes from generation, 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 and even when you talk about from down from slavery as well. So that's why sometimes you have people nowadays, especially within the African American community, especially within our community, that spiritual curses of being don't feel like we're worthy enough to be on a higher level than white people. Don't feel like we're connected. The only thing we continue to think we think that slavery is our history. Slavery is the beginning of our history. Is not. So it's different things that we got to be able to break, but we break them because we become educated about them and applying our education and our knowledge to the situation, and we break that curse. We break it, but applying the discipline that goes behind it. So if I were to give an example, just pop it up. We say when it comes down to African American history, right? We know February gonna be Black History Month, right? We already know they're gonna show roots on TV, but the truth is, our history goes all the way back into Africa, right? So if you're talking about Black History Month or African American history period, then we need to go and look at history from the beginning of time all the way up until now, because our history, from where we come from, our people, is a long lasting history chain, right? So now that's just an example right there. But when we're talking about financial wealth, when we're talking about financial situations, what's up? What's up, Warren? What's up, brother? Ain't heard from you in a long time, man. How you doing? Hope everything going okay with you. So when we're talking about finances and being able to break that financial bad decision that people have made, we have to also understand that there's an educational point that goes behind that that allows them to have the information, strong point to make the correct decision on how to break their financial curses. Now, one of the things people don't understand is everybody ain't gonna buy real estate, but real estate is one of the areas that's made people the most millionaires in the world. You still in the army, man? You retired? You in the army still? What's going on, brother? I'm down here in Fort Benning, Georgia area, down here in Columbus, Georgia. Medical retired out in 2016, man. So I've been out for a few years now. But so it becomes that standpoint of that right there. Now, another brother of mine's, Warren from Chicago as well. So when we're talking about putting ourselves in good financial positions, fixing our credit is the beginning of putting ourselves in good financial positions, and we start learning to make better financial decisions. We fix our credit, raise our credit score, we get access to higher lines of credit cards, right? So, in 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, we discipline with those credit cards. 6 months later, we apply for higher points of credit cards, right? All this becomes a point of us being educated, using our education, applying it, our knowledge that puts us in a better, stronger position, right? Like I tell everybody right now, I said, I can help you get to $100,000 in credit doing it already. So I can help you get there as well. But there's an educational point behind it, there's a discipline point behind it, and there's the application of the knowledge as well that puts everything together. So when I put that post out and I said, oh, okay. What's up, brother? Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, we gotta get up some time, brother. What base you stationed at? 18 years. Oh man, got two more left, brother. Definitely, brother. 2 more years. I hope that 2 years go fast for you, man. But yeah, so what we definitely want to be able to do, like I say, is increase our credit, put ourselves in a good position where we can start. You can start a business with credit. You can buy a house with credit. What's up, Mbika? We don't understand so many things that we can do when it comes down to our credit and fixing our and credit cards that if we only begin to start educating ourselves in a better way. Oh, Fort Bliss, Texas. Okay, man. That way you gonna settle down at Fort Bliss, or you going somewhere else? So we begin to put ourselves in that position. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't talked to brother Warren in a long time. One of my brothers from the military. So we begin to put ourselves in a better position financially. We have better credit, and I can help you get to higher credit limits. So if we start off at $1,000 cards, I can help you get up to $5,000 cards, help you get up to $10,000 cards, helping you push you up to where you have $100,000 in credit. The thing that comes behind that is a discipline that we have to apply. What's up, Tamika? How you doing? We apply the credit. You start your business off of credit. You can buy real estate off of credit, right? You can buy cars. Well, I wouldn't want to buy a car because that's not an asset; it's a liability. And when I say asset and liability, it's two things I mean. An asset is anything that's making you money, bringing money back into your pocket. A liability is only taking money away from you. So those two things, asset and liability. When I'm saying those two things, and we need more assets. We need to buy property. We need to make investments. We need to do those things right there that allows us to start gaining assets to where we start building our own wealth. It is important for us to stop running away from our credit score. I can help you fix your credit. I can truly help you fix your credit. And it's not as hard as you may think it is, but we've been duped to think that it takes this whole big mountain to fix credit, and it's not. Okay. All right, brother, no problem, man. So we think that we're not able to fix our credit, but the truth is we can fix our credit. Now, the thing also goes with that was that there are there are credit card companies that will allow us to gain or get access to higher levels of credit cards. Now I'm just give you this example. Let's say I have 5 credit cards. Each credit card right now I may have $5,000 on each credit card. So I got $25,000 in credit. I manage that credit in a disciplined way for 6 months. I go back to these credit card companies or other credit card companies. I say, hey, I've been doing this for good. My credit score is still good. It's going up, and let me get access to $10,000 credit cards, right? And the one thing about credit card companies is they don't mind giving you the credit. They don't mind as long as your credit history is good, as long as you show them that okay, you pay your bills on time and stuff like that, and you manage the credit properly. They are more likely access you to get those credit cards. So now I got 5 credit cards with $25,000 total on them. I get 5 more with 10,000 each one of them. That's 50. So together I got 75 grand in credit. And this is the thing. What's up, Chris White, man? This is another brother from the military. What's up, Chris White? Man, we gotta get up. You right here. You right here in this area. Hope you in tonight, man. I'm gonna give you a hit up too as well, as my brother Warren. So we begin to operate in a way when it comes down to our credit, understanding our business. It's empowering, and it becomes empowering because now we we change the game in a way, right? We change. We're no longer talking about some we're poor or we're behind the times, but now we're actually we didn't caught up. We didn't really caught up because now we take our credit, we start a business, and I got African Americans who have some women too. They have their own trucking companies, right? I got my brother Chris White right here, own restaurant, and he also do trucking and stuff. Then I have another friend. He has his own tax company and stuff like that. Another friend of mine, he does real estate. He does $1 million in real estate deals and stuff like that. So it's not impossible for us to be on a level of where we're changing our lives because now we understand the game and we understand how cash is going to be king all the time, but credit is a real thing. So if we're able to get to the credit, we stop using so much of the cash. Listen to what I'm saying. We get to the high levels of credit cards and be able to operate our business, start our business on credit. And we already know paying back the credit is the limit on paying back the credit card company is always going to be lower than it is the bank. Banks are going to knock you upside the head with the interest, but a credit card company isn't. And the credit cards you have access to that your payments are going to be on is way lesser than the banks. So therefore, that interest rate is not there. That gives you the opportunity to make cash with your business. And when you make cash with your business, all you're doing is paying back that credit card, right? Now you go to another access. You good with that for 6 more months, gets another access level of credit, and that access level of credit is even higher. So now we start totaling what 100,000 or more in credit, but we're managing it all because we understand the ultimate goal is we're only using the credit to build the business, which is making us cash, which is going into our bank account that we use as leverage now. So after 2 years of being in business, now what happens? We go to the bank and say, well, here's our whole credit profile, right? Here's our credit profile, here's our bank profile, here's how our business has been doing, everything like that. Now we go for the business line of credit. And that's where we cha-ching. That business line of credit now, we still keep our credit cards, but we're gonna that business line of credit that we have now, and I'm telling you, and Bika, you in this area, and Chris, you in this area as well. Warren, I can always get with you, brother. Phone call. I have a friend of mine. He's in the military, veteran as well, retired military also. And this is what we do. This is what we do is to be able to help people. He's more behind the scenes guy, quiet guy. He don't step out, but I'm more of a outspoken, putting this information out to people, but we help our people. Because the one thing we have to understand is that if we're not holding information, we're pushing out there, but we want people who really want to be helped and really understand that you can start your business off of credit. You can do a lot of things off of credit. It's being done every day. Those who have not shared the information with us purposely have done their business off of credit, started a business off of credit, right? And we say, oh, how does Asians come over here and start a business? It's off of credit. It's off of credit. How are Arabs doing it? Off of credit. They and the business makes cash, and they pay back the credit with the cash, and they continue to keep doing that. Then they get business lines of credit, these multi-million-dollar business lines of credit, and now they're running. They're running and opening up multiple businesses and making money, right? And then here's the thing about this as well. I'm not saying this as far as a downfall to it, but understand something. If your business, if let's say for instance, let's say I go bankrupt on a $10,000 credit card. They close the card up. They didn't close my business up. I'm still making cash. They closed my credit card down. They didn't close my business. My business is still making cash. So then what happens there is I put myself in a position to where I can do what? I still leverage and go get another credit card. I can still go get another credit card limit and still push my business or open up another business in some type of way off of credit. But that's just that's the like the worst case scenario right there. But even and then, you're still above. You're 3 steps above because you're able to take that business that's making you cash and leverage that business to loans, to lines of credit, and to credit card companies. All it takes is for us not only just to spread the knowledge, but to get in the same room with the same like-minded people who have the same type of drive, want to do the same thing in life, is being successful. We think getting to $1 million is hard. Getting to $1 million is not hard. Maintaining $1 million is what becomes hard because you got to continue to keep that drive up, right? But getting to $1 million is not hard, especially when you talk about if you're doing it in credit. Because one thing we got to understand: credit is somebody else's money. Credit is somebody else's money. And here's my example. What I'm going to say to you is this: I use credit and I purchase the property. I purchased the real estate property, right? And let's say I get 4 of them, 4 units, right? I rent each unit out at $1,000 or more or whatever. Let's say $1,000. So $4,000. My mortgage that I'm paying on the property, whatever, is $1,200 a month. That means I got $2,800 in my own pocket after I pay the insurance and fees and all that stuff right there. Now let's say on top of that, I also have to look at what if I have a real estate company, that a property management company, I'm paying them $200 a month extra to manage my property as well. So I got $2,600. Then on top of that, I always put money away for, let's say, repairs. Repairs may cost me, let's say I'm gonna put away $100 a month for repairs and stuff like that for what may happen for my tenants. So now I got $2,500, whatever like that, and stuff like that. Well, yeah, for the 12 months, whatever, or $100 a month. But the goal of it becomes that we have that cash flow sitting in our pocket. So now, as I'm putting that money away, and I have that cash flow sitting in my pocket, I put the $1,200 away for 12 months, whatever. I got about what, $1,300, $1,400 left for there. That's still cash flow for the month. I use that as income, right? We can use that still as income to our bottom line. And now I use that as income with my credit, and I go get me another property because now I leverage the property that I have because I built equity up in this property right here, right? And this is a whole thing. I mean, I could be on here for hours, and one day I'm going to get on here and show you guys on the whiteboard I have of how we're going to do this thing and how this thing can be done. And it's not hard to do it. It just takes a discipline and focus for us to say, okay, we're going to get to the credit. We're going to stop buying frivolous things. We're going to stop shopping. We're going to stop blowing our money on cars and car notes and car payments and stuff like that. And we're finna get to this money. We're finna get to this credit, get to this property, buying assets, and putting ourselves in a position to where now we're really building ourselves up, right? So I'm going to give this other example. You purchase a property it's $75,000, but the value of the property is $100,000. So automatically you had $25,000 in equity, right? So now you take that same property, let's say you rent it out for, like I say, for $1,000 a month, whatever like that. So that's $12,000 a year that you may have on that property right there. The aspect of that is understanding that what we gross and what we net is two different things, right? Net and gross. So, and what I made that out of that 12,000, I gotta pay my out of that $1,200 whatever. I gotta pay my insurance for that month and all of that stuff I gotta do. So everything that becomes payments that's going out, our bottom line is that okay, at the end of the month, I'm still netting about $800 a month off this property, or $1,000 a month off this property. That money becomes a cash flow into my own pocket that I can also use as income to my bottom line to go purchase me another property, or income to my bottom line to do what to add on to my income to where I can leverage more deals, right? But then let's think about this on aspect: if I'm doing it off of credit, if I bought the building off of credit, down payment on the building off of credit, repair of the building off of 10% of what the repair is going to be off my credit card, right? My closing costs off my credit card. I repair the whole building, and now I'm making $2,800 off that building. After all my expenses, I still bring in $2,800 a month. I haven't used any cash. I've used a credit card to do everything. So now the cash I'm making lower payments to my credit card. The bank, we already know, is going to be a higher interest rate on paying them back. But for my credit card, I'm making lower payments. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Do you get it? If I'm making lower payments on my credit card, it means I'm keeping more cash. Put more cash back to my bank account. And at the same time, now I'm making those deposits. I'm making deposits 3 times a day. I may have $1,200, but I go to the bank 3 times a day and put $300 in there based off my business. That's why I do taxes as well. And everybody I meet and talk to, I tell them you need to open up a business. You need to start a business because what happens is if I'm going to if your business is making deposits, all they look at is deposits. You're making money. That's what it equals down to. You're making money. So now, if I'm doing that for 2 years, let's say I got $1,200, I'm gonna go to the bank at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna go at 2, and I'm gonna go at 5. I got $1,200. All I'm doing is putting $400 in there every time I go. All they know is that I'm making deposits. They don't even know that $1,200 I just got in my pocket, period. But I'm just coming here 3 times a day doing this, right? So the deposits begin to show on my business side. So now when it comes time for me going after a business line of credit, what happens is this. They look at my business transaction and say, oh man, you making deposits. All a bank want to know is that can you not only pay them back, but can you make sure that they make money as well? Cha-ching, your business line of credit is approved. Other things that go along with that too is your credit score and stuff like that as well, and paperwork and stuff like that. But to get to the credit, it's not hard for us to do. We just have to change our behavioral instinct. That's why when I put that post up there that was about generational curses is different than bad generational decisions. A lot of us in our families, we do have generational curses that have been decades. We know that. But think about this: when it comes down to money, we have learned, been taught bad decisions when it comes to money and finances. And we've been taught, Warren, you from Chicago, so you've been taught the Jordans, the Jordans. But the truth is, when we look at it, it's just a shoe. But that too, I mean, I went to the store, the mall here in Columbus, Georgia. They had a pair of LeBrons for $200. I could have bought the LeBrons for $200, but instead, you know what I did? I looked up the stock for Nike, or I think LeBron's falling on Nike or something like that. But I looked for the stock. The stock is $82.12 a share for Nike. I'd rather buy 2 shares of stock than buy the shoes for LeBron because here's what I'm gonna tell you this well. When you do your returns, when like I don't know how if it's quarterly or whatever like that, but when you're buying stock and they give you a return on that, the return off that money can buy you the pair of Jordans already. So Nike bought you the pair of Jordans for your investment, but your investment is still making money. It's so many different ways for us to begin to start changing our own habits and attacking being financially free and understanding what that really means. That all we gotta do is sit down in the same room and start having a conversation, start sharing information, start revealing where we're hurting at. The one thing that we don't do is we don't want to tell people our financial problems or where we're sitting at. If you don't tell nobody what's going on, how are we gonna find a solution for you, right? Too many times we think that we're gonna find a solution for ourselves, but the truth is we find solutions from communicating. It Everybody I know have been in a bad rut financially. We've been broke financially. We've been down and out financially. So it's nothing to sit here and say, you know what, man, shit, this year, I lost $10,000 this year. I lost 10 grand to some. Well, I didn't lose 10 grand, but I depleted 10 grand this year from business adventures, business investments, and stuff like that. But at the same time, I know that okay, I can do something different for next year, for this year coming in. Not only can I get some of my money back because I'm filing taxes, but also now going forward, some of my investments will be more sound because I understand where I messed up at. We don't want to talk about our money. We'll talk about gossiping. We'll talk about the sports. We'll talk about football. We'll talk about men. Talk about women. Women talk about women talk about men who they like, who find. But we don't never talk about what really matters. And if we're talking about really getting to a point to where money is no longer an object or an issue, and we're not struggling from paycheck to paycheck. Matter of fact, the object of life is really I need to get 2 years and 3 years ahead in my paychecks. I want to be able to operate my main money should never touch my business money. So everything I'm making for my business is off my and what I'm making over here is just stacking. I can live off a little bit off my business money from month to month. But we have to get to that point because we have to communicate that and being able to put ourselves in a position of where we're really making money. Where we're really making money. And I'm gonna tell you something. At a point in time when we was younger, if people were looked at it differently, there are a lot of people who use the dope game to get into the real estate game and left the dope game alone. And now they're multi-million dollars in the real estate game and living a great life. And I'm not saying that to like, to show admiration to the dope game, but I'm saying they used one tool against another tool and they got out and they left it alone. But that was their whole goal, was to get to the assets. They wanted the assets, right? The same thing we can do now. We all know now the dope game is lame. That's some behind time thing. But to put ourselves in a position where we're building our credit, fix our credit, we can get to the credit cards. Fix our credit, we can get to the credit cards. I can help you get to higher limits, higher credit card limits. Discipline with credit card limits for 6 months gets to a higher credit card limit. There is nothing to get you to $100,000 in credit. There's nothing to it to get you $100,000 in credit. All it takes is for you to listen to me. Listen to me, listen to my partner as well, and we get you there. Now, when you get there, don't be surprised, because at that point right there, now not only you in the game, but the knowledge that comes behind it, now you teach somebody else that, or show everybody's not gonna be interested in what you're saying, and everybody's not gonna be disciplined enough to understand that this is a disciplined act. So if you know somebody who frolic you with money anyway, this ain't gonna be good for them. If they like to blow money, they're not disciplining their money, this ain't good for them. We don't want to put people in debt. We're not trying to put you in $100,000 worth of debt. We want to put you in a position where you starting a business or you're buying assets that's gonna make you cash. And you're disciplined enough to understand that this is not about your life that you're living and enjoying it, but you're able to pass something down to your children, or you're able to at least show them a way of where they can be able to make wealth for themselves, right? Because the whole goal of it is we want to make better financial decisions going forward than we made in the past. The only way to do that is to understand the educational point of it, applying it, and passing that information on. We're applying the knowledge, and that becomes a strong point in itself. But if we're not doing that, if we're not allowing that, if we're holding it, then we're abusing ourselves, and we're not helping nobody. So therefore, in a position that I'm in, I love spreading the information. I love sharing the information. I hope everybody on this live take the information, because it's just that important. $100,000 in credit. I want you to understand that $100,000 in credit is not hard to get to. It's out here. But being disciplined with that in a way that you're not putting yourselves in $100,000 worth of debt. It ain't we don't. I don't want you to get a 3,000. I mean, especially for some of my family and stuff like that. If I'm helping you, you're gonna send me your credit cards. I'm holding your credit cards as we build this thing, because I only want there to be a slip up of anything, right? But I don't want you to be $100,000 in debt. I want you to take $100,000, make it to $200,000 worth of credit, $300 worth of credit, right? At the same time, you're building cash. Cash is king. You got cash sitting in the bank or whatever like that, or under your mattress, or in between your mattress, whatever. Oh, but you're still operating that credit. You still have that credit line. You build that credit line for your businesses as well. Now you're in a position where you need something for your business, use your business credit line. You just pay it back with the same money that you're making out of the business itself. And then you open up several different businesses. I always believe in 7 streams of income, 7 different ways money's coming in, 7 different ways that I'm making money. Whether it's investments, I'm actually finna start buying. I'm finna buy a truck, nail salon, the real estate. There are several different ways to make money, and you gotta think about life like this: 7 different ways to make money, and 7 streams of income. And if you're doing that, how you doing, Sandra Bell? Sandra Bell, it's financial freedom. You're no longer a financial slave, and you're actually able to retire yourself or your family members or whatever on a level to where you're living life now. You're really living life. You're not struggling from paycheck to paycheck, but you've used the same system that others have used to get a leg up in this country, that come from overseas now and get 2 legs up in this country. You can do the same thing. We can do the same thing. All it takes is discipline and applying the education and knowledge that we're giving you. And from there right there, once you got it, you got it. Now you teach your children that. You teach your cousin that. You teach your best friend that. And I'm gonna tell you, everybody not gonna be on the level of one on a business. That's okay. But everybody can at least understand the credit and having good credit and managing that good credit and being able to understand how they can operate off that credit, and it opens up other areas of their lives where they can really enjoy themselves. And if you don't want to start a business, I don't know why, because if you can take a vacation, you can take a 7-day vacation, 14-day vacation. There are business owners taking 30 days vacations and writing it off as a business. The whole trip was a business meeting, business vacation. Business, I'm telling you, it's a wonderful thing when you begin to look at it and you start digging into it and understanding that that becomes the true freedom in this country is business owners and own the business. I don't care if your business is, I don't care if you're making cupcakes. I don't care if your business is baking pies. The financial freedom behind baking pies still can be $100,000 in credit. The financial freedom behind the kids like to do now, like with the gym shoes and stuff, paint the gym shoes up like when we was kids. We had Jodeci boots back then. When we was kids, Jodeci boots, right? If we knew then, doing the Jodeci boots and selling and making that a business, still can put you to $100,000 in credit. What happens when you hit the $100,000 mark in credit? Now we introduce you to another part of the game that we're going to explain to you on a one-on-one basis, to where you begin to sit back and you say, "Man, my goodness, are you serious?" Right? So I don't. I just want to be on here to explain the difference what I'm saying when I'm talking about generational curses and bad generational decisions. We've all been um, taught, or we all been connected with that bad generational decisions standpoint. But if we can get ourselves to understand that bad generational decisions and generational curses are two different things, we can definitely change the bad generational decisions that we made. And in turn, we begin to start having more of a leverage of really breaking those generational curses. And that's why I wanted to sit on here and tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're interested in being able to understand how can you get to $100,000 in credit, contact me. I don't know if everybody got my number. I'm gonna put my number in here, and I'm gonna put my email here as well. So either one you can do. You contact me either one of these, don't matter, and I'll respond. That's my number and that's my email. And if you're interested in how to get to $100,000 in credit, how to really free yourself up, how to really have that less stress financial on your life, contact me. All right, Chris, I'm gonna get with you, man, because I hope you're in town right now. I don't know if you're in town or out of town, but we ain't sat down and talked for a long time. A couple months, I know you be on the road and stuff, but I want you to understand that overall, for everybody's on here, is that what I'm saying to you, I'm holding myself accountable for. Not a scam, not a scheme. Is not some pyramid scheme. It ain't none of that stuff right there. Just like Visa credit card is real, what I'm saying to you is real. Just like American Express is real, what I'm saying to you is real, right? Well, I got my credit card over there, but just it's just as real as it comes, and the credit limits is just as real as it comes as well, right? So you all have a blessed night. Thank you for listening to me. If you're interested, contact me. Send me a DM, send me a message, text, call, whatever, and I'll definitely be able to sit down with you and a friend of mine, and we talk about this thing, and we get this thing rolling, because I want to free you up financially to really understand that you can have a way better life, way less stress, and really sit back and enjoy yourself. All right. So you all have a very good night, have a blessed night, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. All right. Good night. Bye bye.